Hey, I'm Avien. I'm from Decatur, Georgia.
It's funny, so when the times when I've done my most vulnerable pieces, the ones that are the most telling about myself and my own experiences, those are the ones where people are like, yo, man, thank you.
Where our hearts beat loud like pianos smashing from rooftops to ground, smashing our hearts with waves against stern and bow, sailing from the Caribbean, but we never swam alone, nor together. What did we run to?
I'm saying like poets or preachers without the pulpit, because like, man, when I start getting convicted about what I'm talking about, and I get into that zone, and it's like there's a microphone in front of me, and sometimes I'm like, whoa, man, you're too passionate. We're just talking about pancakes, and I'm like, no, you don't understand.
I've been a poet most of my life. I started writing when I was 8 years old, and it's just been something constant with me throughout my whole life. And a particular time, I guess about 10 years ago, I was going through a whole lot of changes and a whole lot of growth, a whole lot of struggles, a whole lot of falling down too. And I found that not only writing helped me through it, but also the ability to express it and to be able to put my emotion and my passion behind it. And it's become, my source of healing and my offering to the world as well.
That just goes to show, what our purpose is for. We're here to say the things that other people either don't know how to say or can't say or won't say.
Exactly. I get criticized about how deep I look at stuff, but it's like I can't help it. I'm sorry. Like this is what it is.
I get that too sometimes. And you overthink things, and I'm like, have you not read the crap I write? Have you not read what I put on paper? I can't help but overthink.
I'm analytical.
Everything.
Okay.
My greatest hope is to inspire people to want to change themselves first, and then to reach out and to affect change in the world. I write not only to inspire and to lift up myself, but also to do it for others. No one ever told her she was beautiful, disguised by the frown lines around her eyes and a blanket just soiled enough that she could blend in with the landscape. She was an oak tree. Her homeless shoulders and fingers stronger than the winters she weathered, whether or not she wanted them to be. Even when she wanted to be weak, she could only be as passive as the seasons allowed her to be. She was tenacity. She was a vine of ivy, clustered in the dark corners of a Presbyterian church, her bagged up belongings tangled and strung with streaks of tear stains that went from cheek to thumb knuckle to concrete. Clinging and climbing the brick walls like spider webs, she was rooted there. Transplanted from a past passed by like the faces of the passers-by, refusing to acknowledge that she was present. To them, she was just a root, shooting up and cracking the sidewalk they had to walk over her. Keep their eyes averted so their perfectly crafted conscience could stay protected, because if they never saw, then she never was neglected, right? The crick in her neck was an anchor connected to her forehead, her head forever bowed low in humiliation, her eyes rolled up just enough to try to make eye contact. Excuse me, sir. Sir, can you help me? Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. The paralyzing sting of going unnoticed, injected like the needle of a spinal tap, sucking the sap out of her back. Once an upstanding citizen, now plagued with mental illness, doomed and deemed a public nuisance. Now bent over, her bones crooked and distorted from sleeping on the cold hard ground, she was an oak tree. Her words rendered silent like the whoosh of a cloud. There was nobody there to speak up for her. Nobody could see that behind her tree bark skin there was a cross-section of growth rings corroded by the evils of society. She was the backlash of humanity's bastardized compassion. Laughing, walking down the asphalt with $3 cups of coffee and smiles of plastic. She had had enough, so she grabbed her mask, cast it to the ground, and proceeded to beseech them. How can you love the least of these when you don't even see them? But the wind and the leaves grabbed her voice and carried it inaudible, like the whisper that she appeared to be. But she was an oak tree, hoping that one day she could cast her shade over gardens of forget-me-nots and forgotten memories. She spent her days in the sunshine so that when the nights came, she could remember that there was a flame that burned for her. Because no one ever told her she was beautiful. But somehow, she just knew it.
That's one of the things that I've come to realize is that we all are going through the same thing in some way, form, or fashion.
Absolutely.
Writing is very therapeutic. What form of fashion, whether you write journals, whether you write poetry, I cry on paper. And through that, even though it helps me, it's really not for me. Because like you said earlier, somebody else could read it, or somebody else could hear me perform, or whatever the case may be. And it's like, I have literally performed very personal poems just to relieve the stress off of my spirit. And somebody come out to me and was like, dude, I'm so happy I was in the venue tonight, because if I didn't hear that, I would have went out and done this.
Yes, and that's
or I would have been in another situation.
That's better than the $50 you can get,
man. That's sold into the universe. I mean, I may not be able to pay my tithes every Sunday, but doing this, this is my tithe right here.